Here we are at the Athenaeum. Mark Farrow.
Yes.
I am with Mark Farrow at the Athenaeum. And Mark, I never know whether I should say Athenaeum or Athenaeum. Because people say both. I looked it up, almost as if both is accepted.
They're both accepted. I spoke to a Greek friend of mine.
What do the Greeks say?
It's Athenaeum.
Athenaeum.
Athenaeum. You know, Athenaeum.
So it's that neum,
don't even try and spell it.
It's actually Athenaeum.
Spelling it is also another thing.
Yes,
but anyway, it's a lovely venue that we have.
There's been so many shows here. I have memories going back to the early 1970s when it was still the Ford Little Theatre.
Mm-hmm. At one stage, there wasn't even seats. There was a dance studio in there. All sorts of things were happening in there. I actually did my first show for PMADS, although we rehearsed here. We actually did it in the Opera House. But I first did my first show for PMADS, and that was in 1979.
Okay, so I'm a bit ahead of you, early 70s.
Oh, okay, all right.
I actually do remember Noel
Morgan, yeah.
We went to her house at times. I worked with Cecil Stein at that time, and he's gone to be with the Lord many years ago.
Many of them have.
Many of them have, and we did shows here. But we actually want to talk about is this theatre, this little theatre, which is now not the Ford Theatre anymore. We're calling it PMADS.
No, you're not. No,
we're calling it, I'm just saying that on purpose.
Okay.
We're calling it PMADS Little Theatre because that's where it all actually began, as a theatre.
Well, yeah, the building was actually, the Athenaeum, the building itself, was built, I stand corrected, around about 1891. Then they did another extension. Then they did the extension, which is now the Loubser Hall, which would include the theatre. And then that became PMAD's permanent home.
Exactly.
That's correct.
That's my point. It became PMAD's home, and it's associated with PMAD still.
It has always been PMAD's home. Since the renovation in 2010, it has been rented out to many, many other clients, which is great. To have all that diversity. But it wasn't used that often when PMADS had it. I mean, we probably put on about 5 productions a year, which is
quite a lot. We don't.
We were having something coming up in February called Back in Business, because it was, lockdown's a big thing now and we're going to be back in business. And Uncle Cyril came along and said, no, sorry.
Put a cap on that.
Business is closed. Like so many businesses, the arts are almost non-existent. They've been people who make a livelihood just out of the arts. Professional artists, they're kind of finished. It's very, very sad. And unfortunately, I think the arts has been the forgotten story.
Yeah, like the orphan that's been kicked out.
On the
street.
People, like I said, you should know the hospitality industry, the tourism industry, the restaurant industry. These are all things that are suffering terribly, and they are constantly in the news talking about how they are suffering, which is perfectly true. However, the theatre artists, they are literally the silent screamers.
Yes, and they are at the mercy of those who will entertain them online. Because there is that. Of course, there are those who are trying to do something. Those who have had the 1 or 2 shows we had during lockdown that did happen.
You have to try.
Almost didn't happen.
You have to try, and one also has to remain positive. COVID and lockdown and all the challenges that it has brought with us has made people think outside the box.
Exactly. And they've had to go online to have classes, have all sorts of stuff for youth, especially dancing studios.
Stephen Stead, who owns his own production company up in Durban, he actually gave us a script for one of the pantos, Sinbad. Basically, he has a theatre up in Durban, and unfortunately, he's had to let all his staff go. It's tragic. Now he gives online drama classes. You have to think out of the box, but it doesn't make it better.
No, it doesn't make it better. But now, we were talking about things that people can do. They can have lots of stuff in a venue like this, because this venue lends itself to so many things. There are different rooms. We are here in the foyer now. It's beautiful. It has the most beautiful color curtains, and it lends itself to, if you want to have a small wedding, say 25 people, you can have it in this foyer.
Yeah, I mean, the theatre itself, which is nicknamed the Smarty Box Theatre, every single seat is a different colour.
You can assign colours to people, and then they don't sit.
Yeah,
you can organise social distancing.
Unfortunately, I've tried to work out a pattern.
You have.
And there isn't. It is totally random.
Yeah, so it's every fifth seat, say, or something like that. How would you distance it?
The social distancing, I think, I stand corrected, it's about 1.5 meters.
Okay, yeah.
That is social distancing, I think. The sad thing is our seats are 0.5 meter. So if I make one seat, you can sit, 2 seat gap, 1 seat. It actually doesn't meet the requirements. So it actually has to be every third seat plus a row.
Plus a row in between. So the capacity a theatre of 250 can take about 80.
It's greatly reduced, unfortunately.
Yes.
And of course, you've also got to think of the client, because when you rent a theatre or whatever, you want a return.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're doing a talk or a corporate event where it's not actually meant to be raising money, then that's fine and that's viable and things like that. You know,
if you need to get the money in for whatever you're doing, then you're not going to get enough.
It is very, very very, very challenging at the moment.
But it's doable. And the other venues, like for small, maybe I said the wedding, you can have 20 people.
We try. What we actually try and do at the Athenaeum is to promote the arts. Yes, there has been weddings, there has been birthday parties, all sorts of things like that. But essentially what we at the Athenaeum want to do is to promote the arts.
So they can have exhibitions?
Exhibitions. I'm busy putting up I don't even know if it was last year. 2020 didn't exist. But anyway, there was a Port Elizabeth Photographic Society. They held the National Congress here, and they took over the whole building. And there was some stunning photos. I don't like seeing bare walls. And Jill Sneesby kindly said, look, here you go. Here you can have all of these photographs. So at the moment, I've just put together a sort of an exhibition, gender-based violence, which unfortunately during lockdown has become terrible.
Yeah. Magnified.
And there's a magnified, yes. There's also other sort of photos which I haven't managed to get up yet. But I don't want anyone to come into a building where there's a wall. You should constantly be able to look at something. And because art, that's what this building is all about, is promoting the arts.
The arts, whether it be performing, whether it be visual, whether it be creative. Mm-hmm. And so if people want to come and exhibit their art or have the conference like the Photographic Society, how many people did they have in the end, Mark?
Which was that?
The Photographic Society.
Yeah, well, that was in the good old days before lockdown.
So there was no social distancing.
There was no social distancing.
That won't apply.
No, we had, I think,
with
about
the social distancing, how many people? Because look, if you have an exhibition, and they can come different nights.
They do. Then it's a sort of a staggered audience.
Then you stagger your audience all through the day.
But I mean, we do anything for the arts. After, for example, they were doing their higher certificate students, and what they were doing theatrical lighting. I actually did lecture them in the theory of it, but I could just see in these kids' faces that they did not get it. And eventually I brought them down to the theatre and they were gobsmacked.
There's such a difference in teaching practically on the job.
Absolutely.
And just giving theory.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And they came here, everything made sense. Then they actually had to do their practical, and Magnetic Storm did that thing, and they did all the practical on stage, and it was great. It gave them a really, really good experience. it's all planning at the moment because of the time. But any school who wants to come in at any time, whether at after hours, I am more than happy to open this place up and let people have a look, because to experience the magic of theatre, while we may not have anything to show them, but just
where
the stage,
where it
happens,
happens,
the magic of theatre.
Yes. So if anybody is teaching, lighting, stage management,
absolutely,
acting, whatever.
These are all sort of programs that we want to get in place, promoting the arts.
Yeah, like a workshop.
This is something we have to look at as well. Yeah, unfortunately, it's literally been a case of best laid plans. And then it's all of a sudden it's like,
no, you can't do it.
You can't do that. And it's like, okay, well, back to the drawing board. Something which I'm trying to organize is a photographic competition. People don't have, or a lot of people, especially disadvantaged people, cannot afford a camera. Digital cameras are very, very expensive. However, everybody has a smartphone. National Geographic, all of these places, when they have their annual photographic awards, cell phone photography is actually part of that. So what I would like to do is have a competition.
Everyone's got a cell phone.
Everyone's got a cell phone.
And want to learn how to take a nice picture with the cell phone.
Well, that's another thing. The Photographic Society has kindly said that they will actually judge. They also, one of the people on the council is actually a professional photographer, does amazing street photography. Oh, I don't know how to say this. Hawaii?
Yeah, Hawaii.
They actually had a national competition for cell phone photography.
Yes.
And
because family shots, people like to do family shots.
Anything. Now, you'd say all sorts of categories like you would have with a cell phone. With a normal camera. And there was a competition, and the girl who won it, is actually a member of the Port Elizabeth Camera Club. She is more than happy to come along here and lecture. There again, promoting the arts, and this is what the Athenaeum is all about. The Athenaeum is actually, the name Athenaeum actually means a group of like-minded people coming together. Used to be philosophy, religion, but here we do it for promoting the arts.
The arts. And of course, Mark, we started off by talking about the 70s. You in 1979, me somewhere in 1974, 5, something like that, 73, I can't remember, it's so long ago. Being in this theatre, of course, we've been involved in shows together. In this very theatre.
Yeah, we have.
Many. Too many to pantomimes and plays and dramas, and we are looking forward to when we can do it again. So we're taking the optimistic view here.
You have no idea. I have emails, letters, phone calls from people. When are you doing your next show? When are you doing your next show? And I keep on saying, well, we're looking at doing something. And then Uncle Cyril says something.
And of course, being the theatre, we couldn't have 12th night. We couldn't have...
Nope. Well, there was nothing to judge.
Exactly.
No.
We couldn't have anything. We couldn't have our Shakespeare, and we can't have our panto. We couldn't have our pantomime last year. But we're looking forward to workshops, maybe photo shoots, who know?
Anything.
Because everybody's on their camera these days.
Anything.
On their
Anybody
cell
can
phones.
come in here anytime with any idea as far as arts go and speak to me. They can contact me 071 684 7191. And they can just ask for Mark, and then we can take it from there.
Just say that number again, please, Mark.
071 684 7191.
There you are. And we are here every weekday.
Through the week, I'm here up until about 4:30. But that, they can phone me in the evening.
They can phone you in the evening.
I can come
or they
down.
can pop in if they're in the area.
They can pop in. I will quite happily come on down on the weekend and show them around if they wish. I don't mind at all.
It's a venue for rent, any occasion, as long as the number is not too high and social distancing can happen. There are different rooms. There's the foyer, there's the theatre, and it's at the end of Bird Street in central, just opposite the law court, so it's very easy to find. Thank you so much, Mark.
Not a problem.
I'm sure we'll be able to chat again. We'll be in touch. We're going to say watch this space.
Yes, please, as soon as possible.
We'll definitely be telling if anything is happening.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
whatever is happening, I would be so glad to announce. Thank
But
you
even if
so
people
much.
have a proposal, they're more than welcome to come down and we can chat about it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
Mark.
very much,
It was
Marianah.
a lovely experience to be here at the Athenaeum or the Athenaeum, whatever. It is just
The place
always
to be
nice.
where the arts are
The
happening.
memories are vast. We all have them and we will not lose them, and we're not going to stop supporting the Athenaeum and the Little Theatre. Thanks so much, Mark.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I just want to say a very, very special thank you to the Athenaeum, because we are able to do our pre-recordings here for our shows. We're not crowding our studio with visitors at the moment, but this is such a wonderful venue. It's historical, it's arty, it's entertaining, it's beautiful. So thank you, Athenaeum. Till next time, it is Marianah Lourens saying goodbye with art and entertainment. Ja, Marianah Lourens wat nou moet groet met Kuns en Vermaak. Arrivari!